All right, enough of that. We back, and we ready for some quick hits.
Well, let's go.
Ooh, you're using Jules' line. I like it. I've
watched it enough to know what Jules says, so I have to copy him.
Liverpool finished with 99 points, the second highest total in the history of the English top flight. Robbo, easy question. Are they better than the City side who reached 100 points 2 years ago?
You've just answered your own question. Manchester City got 100 points, Liverpool got 99. So statistically...
No, that's nonsense. That's in your thoughts. You know that. Just tell me if they're better.
No, I don't think they are. I think Manchester City could rip teams apart. They play some magnificent football. Liverpool play a certain style of football, which is good on the eye. But I think they've still got to add a little bit more creativity to be a top side year in, year out. And they're going to have to develop their style a bit, I think, to stay at the top. Man City, 2 seasons ago, were, I thought, a magnificent side to watch. They played football that nobody else could play. And that's why I'd say Man City are the best side I've seen over the last few years.
Now, I know you love to talk about Arsenal, even though Arsene Wenger is no longer there. Robbo, tell me where they are on their upwards trajectory. I mean, it's not really a big deal that they went from 3-0 up to 3-2 and then that Emi Martinez save off the Welbeck back heel, is it?
I was very impressed with their performance in the Cup semi-final against Man City. When you look at that, you think, well, they're really going on an upwards curve. Then you see 1 or 2 of their other performances against Aston Villa. And since the lockdown, they lost to Brighton away from home. That was a terrible performance. They obviously lost to Man City badly in the first game when David Luiz got sent off. He's changed the system on a couple of occasions. I think they're on an upward curve, but I don't think it's that great an upward curve. Even under Unai Emery, the fans in the first season were saying we've got our Arsenal back. There was games where everyone went, well, this is what we want from our team. They're high pressing. They were playing at a great energy. There was lots of movement. There was lots of decent passing. It's happened on occasions for the new manager, Mikel Arteta. It hasn't happened every week, and that's what he's got to look for, consistency.
See, here's my thing. Somebody planted this idea in my mind, and I can't shake it. I think Arteta definitely knows what he's doing, and he's a good coach, and he's creative, and he's trying things. He doesn't get it wrong, but it's like AI, right? He's like learning. It's like but somebody suggested to me that these players aren't good.
No,
too many. I mean, and everybody focuses on the defenders, right? But you talk to some Arsenal fans, and all of a sudden, Kieran Tierney is already Roberto Carlos. Martinelli looked great, and we haven't seen him in a long time. I mean, even Aubameyang, the guy scores a lot of goals, but this person I spoke to, somebody in football, said that Spurs' squad, for example, with all their deficiencies,
it's still better than
Arsenal. Far better than Arsenal's.
Yeah. And the problem when you judge
despite the kids at Arsenal who might become better, and obviously Saka will become better, but I mean, is that fair? Is the raw material there?
I don't think it is. When you judge players, you can't judge them off their best ever performance. You have to judge them what they produce week in, week out. You can look at David Luiz and every so often say, like he did against Man City, what a magnificent performance. That's what he should be producing every week. But he's not going to produce that every week. You look at Lacazette and he produces a really good performance. You say, well, that's what he should be producing every week. He doesn't do that because he hasn't quite got the ability. He's a very good player, but he's not the great player that will take Arsenal to the next level. Right. And that's the problem Mikel Arteta's got. They've got good players, not great players.
You worked with kids. I want to just talk a second about Arsenal's kids. Let's forget Saliba because we haven't seen enough of them. But out of these guys, out of Arsenal's group of youngsters that we've seen, Willock, Nketiah, Saka, Martinelli, and Tierney, and I might be forgetting somebody, which of these guys will be a starter for an Arsenal team that's competing for the title? Which of these guys, or you're near the top of the table, which of these guys has that
The
upside?
one that's impressed me most of the young players is Saka. I think he's versatile in where he can play, which is not always a bonus because he then gets moved from one place to the other. We've seen him play at left wing back. We've seen him play on one of the wide
Who
rights. I would say Tierney looks to be a good player, a very good player. Certainly going forward, he's got lots of energy. I think he's still got to work on the defensive side of the game, which we talk about a lot of fullbacks these days. But they're great going forward, but needs to work on the defensive side of the game. But I would say, is Nketiah going to be a top-class player? Maybe not. Martinelli is a player that I think when I've seen him play, he looks as though he's got an eye for goal. He's got plenty of pace. He works hard. But is he a centre forward or a left winger? That's what they've got to find out with Mikel Arteta. But I would say Saka looks the one player at the moment that can stay in the side. And
so out of
be
that
better
group,
and better.
as you're saying, Saka and maybe Tierney.
Yeah, those two.
Chelsea end up qualifying for the Champions League, and as I said many times, they're in an FA Cup final. This after transfer ban and losing Eden Hazard. Robbo, will you give Frank Lampard Jr., your fellow former Iron, some love? And what do you make of his attitude towards Kepa, who was dropped again for the final game of the season?
Well, I'll start with the first bit of the question. I think he's done a good job. I think I wasn't sure about him when I saw him at Derby. I thought there was a lot of trying to win the crowd over without actually any substance to the coaching. But he's come to Chelsea, and you've seen that he's managed the players very well. He's got the best out of... He managed Pulisic very well, who he didn't play in the team when he wasn't working hard enough in the first stage of the season. Got him back, got his confidence going. I think he's done a really good job with many players. I think the tactics have been quite good as well.
Giroud, Willian in that as well. Older guys who looked like they were leaving.
Giroud, he must have managed him well because he didn't want to play him at the start. Tammy Abraham was the number one. Giroud looks like he's going to be on his way out, but he's got him back in the side and he's playing quite well. So I think his man management's been excellent. His tactics have been okay as well, so I would give him a little bit of love. As for the goalkeeping situation, likewise, he had a big decision. He wanted to get into the Champions League next season, and all he had to do is say, who's going to be my best goalkeeper on the last day of the season? And all he has to worry about is himself. And he thought that his best goalkeeper would be Carriero, so I'm going to leave Kepa out, whether he likes it or not, and probably next season he won't be here.
You know, he's got Chelsea have so much money tied up in Kepa that I think it shows so much personality to have the courage. It also tells you how much confidence is in the club and say, listen, I don't want to play this guy. I can't play this guy. His head's not right. He's not right. Maybe this will motivate him. But there is a risk that this will greatly devalue him. So be it. Can I do it? And the club says, yes, Frank, you're the manager.
Wolves' defeat at Chelsea and Tottenham's draw with Crystal Palace means Spurs will play in the Europa League. Gab, Mourinho took over a side in 11th place, lost Christian Eriksen in January and took them to 6th. Should he be getting more love?
The problem with Mourinho is that he sets the bar so high with the 2 trebles and whatever. So whenever he doesn't live up to that, people point out his flaws. And when he makes mistakes and has spectacular failures like he did in his last year at Chelsea and the way it ended at Manchester United, people are going to be much more vicious, right? It's human nature. We're more vicious towards people who are on their way down. That said, he definitely steadied the ship economically. They'll be happy to be in the Europa League. I don't think they've played any better this season under Mourinho than they did last season. I think going from 11th to 6th sounds very gaudy, but has to do with a bunch of other
Do you think he's
factors.
on the upward trend at the moment?
I mean, certainly the team is, but I think it could also say you go from 11th to 6th because you've got Harry Kane.
But I've also seen them play against Bournemouth. I did the game where they were, I don't think they had a shot on target. They were absolutely hopeless. There's been other games like that. It's been a mixed
He's
bag.
got work to do. He's got work to do. Jury's out. Let's give him some time.
It looks like Milan will be extending the contracts of both Ibrahimovic and Donnarumma. Gab, it helps that they have the same agent, does it not? Do you think that they've got 2-for-1 discount?
No, it helps the agent. It helps Mino Raiola in this situation. So, backtracking a little bit, Donnarumma, by the way, he's reached 200 appearances for Milan. The guy's 21 years old. It's unbelievable. I mean,
Still improving?
I think he's phenomenal already. And he's still improving. And we don't see him in the Champions League for obvious reasons, so he doesn't necessarily get that.
What about with the ball at his feet, which is a big part of goalkeeping now?
It's a big part for certain goalkeepers, but you know what? I'll still take Jan Oblak over every goalkeeper in the universe not named Alisson, and he can't play with the ball at his feet either. So, you know, they do have a clear job. Anyway, the thing about Donnarumma is under the previous administration, when everybody went a little bit mad and there was a lot of incompetence there, they signed him to an enormous contract. He is the world's 2nd or 3rd highest paid goalkeeper, 3rd, I think, after De Gea and Ederson. And he's too young. And obviously you got that contract. That contract expires a year from now. And what do? You always get a raise in football, right? Who takes a pay cut? So Milan's problem is they have to extend him. Mino Raiola holds all the cards there because a year from now this guy is available on a free transfer, so they have no choice. I think what they're going to try to do is work out a deal where maybe they put in a release clause, so you get him to take a little bit less money, but you give him or you don't give him a raise, but you give him the benefit of, like, you can leave for 40 million at a reasonable price so that you can go and make more money elsewhere and you still have that freedom. Zlatan, I mean, it's a different story. He makes way too much money. I don't think you can justify keeping Zlatan there. As important as he's been when he's 38 years old, there's talk of him taking a pay cut, some sort of bonus thing. I'm also told that Zlatan loves Milan. He's in terms of the city, he's happy there. He's lived there for a long time.
He's actually, on the field, he's looked happier than he has looked at several other clubs.
He certainly looked happy. What I would do is I'd go to Zlatan and be like, Zlatan, you like it here. We're going to pay you whatever you would have earned at Hammarby or whatever, wherever else you might go. Because you're obviously not doing it for the money at this stage. And then we can talk bonuses and whatever. But please stay and tell us you want to stay. And please help us
Would he be
extend
quite as
Donnarumma
happy
well.
at Milan if he's not in the team every week?
The guy's 38.
Yeah.
I mean...
But does he still expect to be in the team every week?
I think with Pioli he will be. If it's a year, you can live with it.
Because he certainly got the best out of Rebic.
He certainly did. But, I mean, Zlatan certainly contributed as well. So it's
That's
a
what I'm
tough one.
Zlatan's got the best out of Rebic in some ways.
But I'll tell you, the guy who's laughing all the way now, and once again, the guy who wins football again is Mino Raiola. Talk about leverage in this situation. Unbelievable.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.